Well, absolutely, but don't even believe that there were 5 options. What you really saw were Harry's and Meghan's fantasy narrative, which they call the truth. What Meghan never really understood, probably not even now, is that when she was cheered as a working royal, it wasn't because she was Meghan Markle, it was because she represented British royalty and all the values of the Queen and all the tradition and 1,000 years of history. So people were cheering not just the person, but also the institution.
Devastating moment for Prince Harry's reputation and credibility, as he argues with a judge while in the dock, contradicts himself, appears to fib about using the pseudonym Mr. Mischief.
He lost at the trial court level on this push to make the British royal family pay for his security when he goes to the UK.
Once they realise that myself, my wife and our kids are happier outside of the institution, please just look at the fact, look at the risks, look at the threat, look at the impact that if anything was to happen to me, my wife or my father's grandchildren, look where the responsibility lies.
What a manipulation. My father's grandchildren. They're going to and it will be his fault.
It's gaslighting on a grand scale.
It's almost like Harry 2.0 is Brooklyn Beckham. Have you seen any of this action where...
Yes, I'm into it.
I'm so
very into
it because he doesn't talk to his father, fall out with the father.
He holds on to these terrible, unhappy moments with Meghan, who he says, you know, she's absolute misery, but you know, that's not true either. And she wasn't around in the late 1990s. I mean, it's a sort of extraordinary way of behaving.
He wanted half in, half out. He wanted his own cake and eat it. And the royal family said, no, you're either in the royal family or not in the royal family.
April 2025, she said it's the happiest she's ever been. She's having a wonderful time. She can't believe it, and she's happy and grateful. Now, what sort of idiot would say that in court when he talks to the person herself has given something completely different?
The more Meghan must have been convinced of her importance to the monarchy. Do you still think she's that delusional? And maybe the answer is watching her at Kevin Costner's 805 Live event in $300,000 worth of jewelry, including Diana's Cartier watch.
Wherever she is, whether it's at Costner or in Colombia or in Nigeria or wherever, she's always, her publicist will reveal that she's wearing one of Diana's pieces of jewelry.
Royal biographer Tom Bower just dropped a bombshell that has Meghan Markle absolutely furious. While her husband Harry was in a London courtroom crying and arguing with a judge, Netflix quietly pulled the plug on her cooking show. And Tom Bower revealed the real reason why it failed so spectacularly.
The series is over. There's no great podcast. They don't generate any money. And I don't see where she is going from here.
This isn't about bad ratings. This is about something much worse.
In Meghan's case, it seems to me she's absolutely determined to force feed the narrative. And damn it, they're going to accept it and keep going. And people are just too smart.
And by the end of this video, you'll understand why Meghan's Hollywood dream is completely dead. Let's get into it.
Bad news in Harry and Meghan world, their show has been canceled. Season 3 of With the Love Meghan has been canceled by Netflix.
So here's what happened. Tom Bower, who wrote the explosive biography Revenge, Meghan, Harry, and the War Between the Windsors, gave an interview where he explained exactly why Meghan's Netflix show bombed. And his words were absolutely devastating.
Prince Harry, his heart seems to have softened, or there's been some sort of evolution. So I do think you're right that a lot of us were kind of caught off guard by the Prince Andrew decision, because we had grown accustomed to cuddly Charles, Grandpa Charles, with the grandkids in his lap. And when I saw the news, I thought, I don't know if I'll ever see anything like this again in my lifetime, but maybe I will because of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle.
Tom Bower said, and I'm quoting directly here, "It turns out she's not any kind of talent." Now that's a brutal statement.
And even the publishers couldn't quite believe some of the things which I discovered. And one of the big things at that time was sensitivity reading. There was a great fear that she would play the race card.
But Tom Bower didn't just throw that out randomly. He spent years researching Meghan. He interviewed over 80 people who worked with her, knew her, or dealt with her professionally. Tom Bower has receipts for everything he says.
I was doing an interview to offer them a platform to tell their story about why they left. And that was my number one intention, was just clarity on why did you leave? And so some of the things that were revealed in that interview came as a surprise to me. And those surprises are now referred to as bombs.
According to Tom Bower, Netflix executives realized their mistake within the first 6 months of signing that $100 million deal with Harry and Meghan.
And that's the thing about Meghan. She's a very, very deceitful person.
They discovered that Meghan couldn't deliver content that people actually wanted to watch,
which they've created, and they're going to earn a fortune out of it. And don't forget, there's Harry's book still to come next month. And then at some stage, there'll be Meghan's book. I mean, they're making a career out of this stuff.
The show, called With Love, Meghan, was supposed to be her big comeback, her chance to prove she was a lifestyle guru like Martha Stewart or Ina Garten.
Your show's been canceled. You're not going to be the next Martha Stewart, Meghan. I mean, the fact that Meghan Markle had a cooking show and she moved pretzels from one bag into another was crazy.
But Tom Bower pointed out something crucial. Meghan has never been authentic.
Professionally, they've gone down dramatically, and I predicted it in the book. But even I would not have thought it'd be that accelerated. I think personally, I think they've separated their professional lives, but I think what's really a great problem for them now, as of in the last few weeks, is that Meghan has got no real income anymore. She's finished.
And audiences in 2026 can smell fake from a mile away.
The authenticity is really what the issue is, and there's, they just hired a whole new PR firm.
Tom Bower explained that the problem wasn't just the show itself. The problem was Meghan's entire approach.
Because in the end, one of Meghan's many deficiencies is she has nothing to say. Mm-hmm. There's no originality. There's no profundity.
She wanted to be seen as this warm, relatable person who loves cooking and entertaining.
They bought 12 episodes and you sliced it. Everybody
Craft
knows
services
that.
did not come back. The trucks did not drive up the driveway again and relight the whole place.
But as Tom Bower noted, her own father, Thomas Markle, had his leg amputated while she was filming this show. And she didn't visit him. She didn't even call him. How can you sell yourself as someone who values family and home and love when you've completely abandoned your own father?
What I discovered was, of course, that she was hunting for a man in England from 2013, and she wanted wealth and she wanted fame, and she targeted. There's no doubt she targeted Harry.
Tom Bower made this point crystal clear in his interview. The hypocrisy is staggering.
We can't ignore them if they keep popping up doing stuff like this. That's the thing. We're kind of in a mutually abusive, toxic relationship, aren't we? The media and Harry and Meghan, because they keep doing stuff wanting attention. Then they get quite adverse reaction most of the time. Then they react really badly to the reaction. And so it goes on.
Well, what it really boils down to is the threat they offer. If the threat was punctured, which I hope my book will do.
Let's talk about just how badly this show performed, because the numbers are absolutely shocking. With Love, Meghan ranked 1,217th on Netflix. Let me repeat that, 1,217th. Out of all Netflix content available in the second half of 2025.
I don't know that he would hang on with Meghan because, as we know, he's not in the top 1,000 that for Netflix.
Meghan's show was basically invisible. The show got only 2 million views in 4 months. Now, for context, I've seen YouTube channels with no famous hosts get more views than that in a single month.
The internet is undefeated. You cannot fool it. You will never get away with it.
Think about that. Meghan Markle, who married into the British royal family, who had the entire world's attention, who got a $100 million Netflix deal, couldn't even pull in decent viewing numbers for a cooking show.
Be doing anymore, which I'm not shocked because nobody was watching it, okay? That show is like number 5,206 on the Netflix charts.
The holiday special did slightly better with 2.4 million views, but that still only ranked it 1,500th on the list. That's embarrassing for someone who supposedly had star power.
I bet you guys they put so much money into the show and then no one tuned in to watch it that it was just not a good return on investment.
Here's what Tom Bower said about this. Netflix kept trying to make Meghan work because they were hoping to eventually get a big payoff. They wanted the Princess Diana documentary. They wanted the tell-all if Harry and Meghan ever divorced. They wanted access to royal secrets. But what they got instead was a woman arranging flowers and putting pretzels into different bags.
In Meghan's mind, she is Diana.
Yes.
I mean, Diana Spencer is Meghan Spencer. And that was all part of her imagination that somehow she could inherit the glow of her dead mother-in-law.
According to Tom Bauer, Netflix executives were shocked at how boring Meghan actually is in real life. She's not spontaneous. She's not funny. She's not warm. Everything is calculated, scripted, and rehearsed, and it shows on camera.
A documentary on his mother would be, by him, surrounded by all of these yes people.
It would be totally inaccurate. I mean, from his own book, where he says for a long time he thought his mother had just disappeared and now believes she'd been murdered by the paparazzi, which is ridiculous.
Tom Bauer revealed that Netflix tried to give Meghan every advantage. They gave her top producers. They gave her a big budget. They let her have creative control. And she still couldn't create anything people wanted to watch.
I don't think I think, however, that if he did a program about his mother, that would be for money.
Yes.
And I think it would be a shocking act of further disloyalty.
Now here's where Tom Bauer's analysis gets really interesting. He explained that Meghan's fundamental problem is that she's a narcissist who can't connect with regular people.
It is filling most people with nausea and fury, what they're doing, because they're setting themselves up as the victims, but in fact they're the aggressors.
Tom Bauer pointed out that all successful lifestyle personalities have one thing in common: authenticity.
I can't even be around it as a consumer. I can't imagine how Harry handles this as a full-time partner.
Martha Stewart was a real businesswoman who built an empire from scratch. Even Gwyneth Paltrow, who gets criticized for being out of touch, at least has a genuine personality.
The way she's artificially building herself up, like the humble brags that she constantly does, she's so incredibly needy.
But Meghan, according to Tom Bauer, is playing a character. She's pretending to be someone she's not, and modern audiences are too smart for that.
He helps Harry be looking ridiculous. I mean, one of the ludicrous things that he said was that Meghan was absolute misery.
Tom Bauer said that people who worked on the Netflix show told him that Meghan was difficult, demanding, and impossible to please. She would shoot the same scene over and over because she didn't like how she looked.
And his mother had amazing status. She looked beautiful. She had terrific poise. She worked very hard at being a royal. She was very empathetic with a lot of sick people. None of the things that Meghan would ever dream of doing.
She obsessed over every tiny detail of her appearance, but didn't care if the content was actually good.
He was trying to humiliate her by clearly suggesting she came onto him. There was a little incestual dance.
Oof. One story Tom Bauer shared was particularly telling. Apparently, Meghan insisted that her hair had to look perfect in every single shot, even though she was supposedly cooking.
Even season 2 of her show was fake. It was not a season 2, it was a lie.
Real cooks tie their hair back. Real cooks don't worry about looking glamorous while they're working with food.
It's unlikely that there will be a third series of With Love Meghan on Netflix, is that right?
Yes, that's right. Yes, definitely. That's what they've said. 2 series vowed, and there's not going to be another one.
But Meghan wanted to look like she was on a magazine cover, not like she was actually cooking.
These are things you would know if this were actually your friend. So I'm gonna miss their latent fear in interact.
This is why Tom Bauer says the show failed. It wasn't real. Nothing about it felt genuine.
I think there were various things about her sexual life which I dropped out on the grounds of privacy laws in Britain.
From the rented mansion that she pretended was her house, to the rented beehives, to the celebrity friends who clearly didn't want to be there. All of it was fake.
I think it's gonna be the terrified friends who, come in and they have to pretend that they all know each other really well and that she knows them really well.
And here's the kicker. Tom Bauer revealed that Meghan is absolutely furious that Netflix canceled her show. She apparently thought it was going to win awards.
So Meghan Markle, her cooking show has been canceled. No one needs to see her making arts and crafts anymore. I think they need to go away.
She thought it would make her the next big thing in lifestyle entertainment. She had no idea that people found it boring and unwatchable.
Everything about her is fraudulent, right? These are not real friendships. We all know that. These are not her recipes.
Now, while all this Netflix drama was happening, Harry was in London making an absolute fool of himself in court. And this ties into everything Tom Bauer has been saying about this couple.
Harry is behaving disgracefully. Not only is he utterly disloyal to his father and his brother, but also his mother's memory.
Harry was testifying in his lawsuit against the Daily Mail. This is about alleged phone hacking that supposedly happened between 2001 and 2013, before he even met Meghan.
Tell us that you were aware of some, but not all, of the 14 articles that you complain of in these proceedings at the time they were published?
Yes.
You did not complain, and no complaint was made on your behalf.
Not that I am aware of.
That is because you believed at the time that the articles were published, insofar as you saw them, that the information they contained came from legitimate sources.
To a certain extent, but I would not have been able to complain about them anyway because of the institution I was in. It would have been very difficult. Never complain and never explain.
But here's what happened. Harry started arguing with the judge. Not once, not twice. 3 separate times, the judge had to tell Harry to stop arguing and just answer the questions.
Harry that got into a slanging match with him. At one point, Judge Nicklin had to step in and say, "I'm so sorry, Duke, but it's the job of your counsel to defend you and to get into arguments with the opposing side, not yourself."
Think about that. A high court judge, who is an expert in media law, had to repeatedly tell a prince to behave himself in court.
Harry's evidence came forward a day. So Harry originally wasn't meant to be giving evidence until tomorrow. Now, I think it scrambled him a bit. He seemed uneasy from the moment he arrived. He didn't really settle properly in the witness box. And he came in, and Anthony White very cleverly immediately got him onto this thing of being part of the institution plane. And right from the off, Harry was on the defensive and very bristly and very abrasive. And the judge intervened 3 times to try and calm him down. I mean, the first time, which was the one that you showed there, he was actually quite sympathetic and he was quite like, look.
The judge literally said, "You're doing what lots of litigants do. You tend to argue back. You don't have to bear the burden of arguing the case today.
This is my job. I understand that this is a big moment for you, but you're making a mistake that a lot of people make. Let me just tell you, your job now is just to answer these questions. Let your legal team answer the case." And Harry seemed to kind of go, "Okay, my lord, yeah, whatever." Then he carried on. Then he did it again. And then he did it a 3rd time. And it was really bad the 3rd time. So.
But Harry couldn't control himself. And then, in the middle of his testimony, Harry started crying. His voice was breaking, and he said, "They have made my wife's life an absolute misery."
So Prince Harry is apparently crying on the stand and saying this. This is a direct quote we have from the New York Post. "They've made my wife's life an absolute misery."
Now here's the problem. This case is about things that happened before Meghan was even in the picture. This lawsuit has nothing to do with her. So why is Harry bringing her up?
To sit here and go through this again, and to hear them claim in their defense that I don't have any right to privacy, is disgusting. They have made my wife's life an absolute misery, my lord.
Tom Bower has explained this pattern before. Harry is so controlled by Meghan that even when he's supposed to be focused on his own case, he has to bring everything back to her. It's like he can't think for himself anymore.
Harry is vengeful, bitter, angry. There's so much rage in there.
And get this, Meghan wasn't even there. She didn't fly to London to support her husband during this supposedly important court case.
I think Prince Harry would rather travel to London to sit in a courthouse than be stuck in the asylum with her in Montecito.
She was back in California, 5,000 miles away, posting on Instagram. Tom Bower has said repeatedly that Meghan uses Harry as her puppet, and this court appearance proved it.
I think it's absolutely shocking, isn't it? I mean, he's trying to have an argument with the lawyer who's supporting the male. Now, that's ridiculous because he's not supposed to do that. He's supposed to answer a question.
Harry was there crying about his wife while she was at home taking selfies by the pool. The hypocrisy is incredible.
Prince Harry, you're crying on the stand. In life, we don't always get what we want.
Harry stood in that courtroom and complained that the media has commercialized his private life. This is the same man who wrote a 400-page book called Spare, where he revealed that his brother William is circumcised, detailed his drug use, talked about losing his virginity, and shared private family text messages.
William wouldn't allow it.
Tom Bower has pointed out this hypocrisy many times. You can't sell your story to Netflix and Oprah, and in a best-selling memoir, and then complain that the media is invading your privacy. That's not how it works.
And I think Prince Harry keeps finding these reasons to go to London, to go to court, because he secretly misses being in London.
The reaction to all of this has been savage. People are not buying what Harry and Meghan are selling anymore.
They want it both ways. These people were so mean to us and poor us, and we don't want all this attention. And then let me write a book about how much we don't want attention.
One comment that got over 1,400 likes said, if Harry wanted privacy, he wouldn't have released Spare. Another person wrote, court is for facts, not feelings. That comment got over 400 likes.
I just think she's crying for sympathy, playing the victim when there's nothing to be a victim about, and there's also no sympathy to be granted for this lifestyle that she's chosen to live.
People are calling out the hypocrisy. They're pointing out that Harry invaded his own brother's privacy, his sister-in-law Catherine's privacy, his father's privacy, and his ex-girlfriend's privacy. But now he wants to claim that his privacy is sacred?
When you look at him bringing up Meghan in this moment about what happened in the past, for me, it looks like he is trying to do what happened in the past because of what happened to Meghan in the present. But if it is about what happened to Meghan in the present, then why not bring a lawsuit about what happened to Meghan in the present? You know why he won't do that? Because, first of all, there's not other people that he can come in with this same lawsuit to strengthen his case like he has with the other people that are in on this court case, all these other people. It's just him and his life with this woman. But also, Meghan's life that she lived in the UK was not even affected that way where there would be evidence, where there would be enough justification for a lawsuit. It is all caught up on an emotional high, emotional roller coaster of, having to work with the press, having to then be, part of the press's news gathering, story making arm. And there's no real balance between the two. But at the same time, that's just the life you get. It's a quid pro quo. You get this luxurious life. You're born into privilege. Things you never had to work for, but the compromise to all of that is that now you have to put up with things in the press that probably do make your life miserable.
And about Meghan's Netflix show, the comments are even more brutal. People are celebrating that it got canceled. One person wrote, she's made our lives a misery listening to her behavior and hypocrisy. Another said, finally Netflix found its spine.
But when she's playing the role of herself, she is, because we can all see right through it.
What Tom Bauer predicted is coming true. He said that eventually, people would get tired of Harry and Meghan's victim routine. He said that Americans would reject them once they realized these two have nothing to offer except complaints and demands.
You want constant press and you want to constantly be, a topic of conversation. And then you're upset that these papers write about you or that they might go to some links that you find unsavory to obtain information, right? You can't have it both ways.
And that's exactly what's happening. The Netflix cancellation proves it. Harry's court case proves it. Nobody is interested anymore.
These folks are so fame hungry, okay? And then when they get written about, they don't love the way they've been written about. It's like, okay, you guys can't make your mind up.
Tom Bauer was right when he said that the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. And we've reached that point. People don't even hate Harry and Meghan anymore. They just don't care.
They kind of up their whole thing, went way too hard on we're victims, and they assessed the mood of their generation and America correctly in that we are lovers of victimhood. Yeah. But America did finally find a way to say, you know what, we love victims, but you two, we've just had a little too much of it.
I mean, tone deaf could be Meghan Markle's middle name.
So what happens now? Tom Bauer has some predictions, and they're not good for the Sussexes.
That they wanted out, but still staying in. They want to be paid, and they wanted to, what they call, do service to the Queen on their own terms.
First, Tom Bauer believes that Netflix will completely drop them within the next year. The so-called first look deal is just Netflix slowly backing away without making a big announcement. It's what one commentator called slow ghosting.
Last year, she was about to promote her Netflix series and didn't want to, firstly, be seen with Harry, and secondly, didn't want to go somewhere where she'd appear cheap and give it gratis. And this year, she is desperate to be seen.
Second, Tom Bauer thinks that Harry and Meghan are running out of money fast. They reportedly spent $38 million on their failed projects. Their mortgage is massive. Their lifestyle is expensive. And now the money is drying up.
Yes, I mean, it's actually £39 million that he might have to pay.
Tom Bower has said that Meghan is desperate. That's why she went back to Sunshine Sachs, her old PR firm. That's why she's trying to befriend Jennifer Aniston through Aniston's boyfriend. That's why she launched those ridiculous bookmarks that say, "Fell asleep here."
Archwell, their company, is not a charity. It's a commercial organization. They give very little money away for charity.
Everything Meghan does now, according to Tom Bower, reeks of desperation. She's throwing everything at the wall, hoping something sticks, but nothing is working.
Can't survive without being seen. And that's her great problem. I mean, she's not invited to the great A-list parties, let alone the B-list parties.
Yeah.
I mean, who is she anymore?
Third, Tom Bower predicts that Harry will lose his court case. The evidence isn't there. He's relying on feelings and assumptions, not facts.
She got so wrapped up in telling the news that she just blurted it out. She blurted it out live on air. And you can see the other guy. The other guy's going like, what? What? Come on.
And he's already shown the judge that he can't control his emotions or follow basic courtroom rules.
I think part of him is happy to be there because he misses the British culture and he hates being at the house with Meghan.
If Harry loses, he'll have to pay the Daily Mail's legal costs. We're talking potentially tens of millions of pounds. That could bankrupt them.
Enough with the lawsuits, enough with the reality shows. Take some time and chill.
Tom Bower has been warning about this for years. He said that Harry and Meghan left the royal family thinking they could make more money and have more freedom in America.
Everything about her feels affected, and you recoil in response to it.
But they underestimated how much the royal machine protected them. They underestimated how hard it actually is to build a brand from nothing.